I launch on a recording, I've got some thought, I want to say so-and-so, like I am at this precise moment. I have a thought in my mind that I could encourage you to be encouraged. So I start this recording, for instance, and I'm not sure where it's going, other than I'm saying that, and I pause here. Yes, I've gone back to the beginning of this recording just to make sure I'm on track with what I'm thinking. And I'm wanting to communicate to you that you begin by not having a clue. Perhaps I could do so-and-so. So you throw some energy at it. I start recording. I say, this reminds me of so-and-so. Or, hey, you know such and such, don't you? And I'm into it. I don't know where I'm going yet. And then a while into it, which is only, say, half a minute in this case, I pause and think, hang on, where am I going here? And for a moment you could say I'm presented with potential discouragement. You don't know this is going anywhere, Marshall, what are you doing here? And I remind myself that, hang on, this is God's situation, not narrowly mine. He'll open to me what needs to be in my mind and in my words to make this recording a blessing to people. So I'm now saying to you, don't be discouraged. The very discouragement itself, and now I've got a new thought coming in, the very discouragement itself causes you to bring God into the awareness of God into what you're doing. And it's this that is the blessing. Do you see it's again, he builds on your simple initial volition. You suddenly think, but I'm at sea, Lord, I don't know what's going on here. How far am I going with what? And to what benefit? And that dilemma immediately springs in my mind. You need God on this. Of course, it's him I'm trusting in to open up the thoughts. And then what I put down in the recording, there's more of him than me, isn't it, by a long, long way. And they are new original thoughts. And the recording or the writing, depending how I'm doing it, is alive. And you find this in conversation with people. How are you today? It's just an opening bid. And what you're really saying is, let's find a means of communication that's going to open our minds. Do you see, now this is a totally new thought to me that's going to bless us both. So you say, did you do so-and-so? No, I couldn't because of such and such. And we're now having a conversation. Perhaps it's helpful if we do so-and-so. And we might, especially if we know we're both of a mind to worship God, because that's who we are, we may specifically bring, I wonder what God wants us to do here, or, well, it's not consistent with such and such a principle, is it? Or is it? Well, it could be. And do you see we're again advancing into God's mind together? Do you see the value now of good company? Of course you do. That's why you're drawn to it. You're blessed by talking to so-and-so. Another person might be very negative, and it sort of kills the development of each inspiration as it crops up. And you think, I think I need to withdraw from this company. This is not going to be a blessing. And they wonder why they're isolated and why the storm clouds of life gather. And it's because they brought upon themselves that particular bundle of thoughts from God's mind. that they're choosing to experience, until they get sick of it and think, oh, there must be something more than this. If only God were existed, and so forth. Or, oh, I must break out of this. I must have a change of work. This is not suiting me, this work, this environment. These people are not the sort of people I want to be with. I need to be with someone else. But of course, it may not be the environment and the people. It may be that you're not relating to the environment and people in such a way as to bring forth the blessing that you actually could have. And you think, well, perhaps it'll be easier with different company, different job, different home, different neighborhood, different car, different clothing, different food, different activity this evening. You're looking for the outside world to give you the stimulus you want, whereas really the outside world at best can only remind you of your possible increase in the right access to God within, the right access to his mind. And by right I mean thoughts that bring life and joy and blessing and goodness, health and vitality, creativity, peace. You know the list. The qualities, the values of your God. Bless you. Bless you. So, you're not going to be discouraged when you launch and you find, oh, I don't know where I'm going. The very fact that you get uncomfortable that this is not really satisfying will remind you to open more your channel with God, to be inspired. You might do that very formally by, prayer, talking to God, benefiting from awareness of his company, not giving him a long shopping list or a long complaints list about how the world should be different to what it is, but loving him and thinking how good he is to you. Whatsoever is good and lovely is wonderful company for you. The awareness of the good opens your mind to the loveliness of God that is harmony with him and with all that he creates and does. It's a fantastic blessing we have opportunity to hear, and we know it. We know it because of the kindness of God in the past that's made us sensitive to yet another aspect of his loveliness, the goodness of him in the world around us. When you're in love, the world sings to you, and you are kind and a great blessing to those around you. You are not an imposition because your needs are met. You're not mining and taking from the world, but bringing a harmony and a blessing into it because you're overflowing with love, with blessedness. That's what you're going to take hold of, day and night, night and day. This is life eternal, to know thee, the only true God, and the way. We know the way. We think on whatsoever is good and lovely. And depending on the culture, a good place to start might be the life of Jesus. I don't mean those scriptures are perfect, I just mean they're a blessing. Or you may find the Gita, Bhagavad Gita, incredible blessing. both a blessing. And I found good company a blessing, and I found worship a blessing, and prayer, and energization exercises, and walks in the country, and lovely company, and good pastimes. Bless you. You're equipped for life eternal. The way is open for you. Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Dad. So I got 2/3 the way through listening to this recording again, and it occurs to me I should say, you need to fashion your inner world into loveliness, and your outer world will present accordingly. You know, in classic Christian type terms, jargon, you need to get yourself right with God. And then, when there is a loveliness within, a devotion to, a love, an awareness of all that you truly value and why you love Him, you know, if it's personified, it's infinitely easier. You're a person, you're not a machine or a computer. You relate to people. So you visualize the personification of what you value. He's a lovely God, He's a perfect dad, He's a good parent, He's a friend of friends, He's loving, kind, caring, gracious, forgiving, understanding. You see, you saturate yourself with the company of this person that you love, called God. And you go out now in a wealth of godliness. And you experience then how this relates and your world relates to you. And it's much better. There are some problems. And when you can, you reflect on such. Why is this a problem? Why are they reacting or something reacting in this way? Why isn't something in the world more fulfilling? You go within, you ask God. Perhaps I wasn't very careful of what I was saying. Perhaps I alienated them without realizing it. I was discouraging them, and I didn't realize it. I was less focused on their welfare, and they reacted strongly. Well, that's understandable, isn't it? What could I have done better? Do you see? You go within. You draw on the incredible resources you've got, your understanding and relating to your God. You come up with an explanation and a modification as to how you're seeing things. Oh yes, I didn't realize I suppose I wasn't really listening. I should have done. I could have made more of so-and-so, couldn't I? And that would clearly have been more of a blessing to them. I'd like to do that in the future. Do you see you're being transformed by the love of your God within you? Wow! You're on the path. You are the way. You're the personification of the way back to God. Quite simply, you are Jesus. In that sense, do you understand what I mean? I don't mean in some arrogant way, at least I hope I don't. What do you think? Oh no, I couldn't possibly be arrogant. I'm not humble enough to admit that. No way. Yes. You're going to be joy, aren't you? Joy and love. there's a great deal of negativity around you because people are struggling in a morass of not knowing the goodness of God. It's as simple as that. And you'll rescue them in as far as you can. Not in some autocratic imposition way, but through your love and kindness, through your patience and your grace, your acceptance of who they are, your trust that God will have it right for them. It's taking a while, but He's got plenty of time. In the fullness of time, He'll achieve loveliness in this person. They don't know it yet, perhaps, but you do. And you're blessing them accordingly. Wow. You're a winner. No wonder you don't have much humility. How could you have humility when you've got such a fantastic friend, God, to be with always? I am He, blessed Spirit, I am He. I and my Father are one. We're the best of friends. He's a wonderful dad, and I love him to bits because he loves me. Yeah, very selfish, isn't it? Very self-centered. But that is it. It's because he loved me. I'm inspired to love him. Thank you, Dad. Oh, do you see how this recording has become a blessing? I couldn't foresee how it could be blessing in this way when I started. I just knew I had something to say, and you want to trust that God's going to do the rest. If you don't, you won't put one foot in front of the other. You won't start. And when you are on the way, you get discouraged and you stop. Oh dear. Oh no, I stop and reflect. What you doing here, God? What am I supposed to be noticing? Perhaps I should pursue science. Throw some energy at it then, Marshall. See what happens. And I've got 18 minutes of what turns out to be the love of God, a blessing, ideally to all that listen to it, and certainly to me in producing it. I'm flying. Love you, Dad. Thank you, Dad. Hey, do you hear that bird? It's on the recording, isn't it? It's because it's 6:49 in the morning now. And, it's whatever the date is, halfway through November, in the southern hemisphere, so it's springtime. And he's singing, he's got the day ahead of him, and he's entering into it with joy. He's chirping away. Thank you, Dad, for a fantastic creation to experience. Love you. Thank you, Dad.